Okay, today's video is going to be on making these pasteboard Johnston and Dow boxes. And I kind of nicknamed them the two-string boxes because there's two strings coming out of the corners like this. And so there's going to be three labels available on my printables page along with the printable patterns. And so there's the 44, the Remington 36, and the Colt 36. Now the 38-100 is not a typo, that's the way they were. And even the Army here, you can see, had a 46 and a 44, so that is not a typo. But there is a typo in here, so I made a bunch of these and realized it. So there is another typo which I have corrected, so you can probably see these two here I will be opening and redoing because of the typo. So if anybody notices that. So there's going to be on my printables page the pattern here you can print. Now you can 3D print this, or there's actually another file you can print it out on a piece of paper and paste it down and make a cardboard template if you want to use that. And there's a scoring jig here that helps score the boxes faster on the fold lines. And there is a folding jig like this. I call it a folding block. And so there's multiple different ways to fold these. There's probably about 3 different ways of actually making the box. And so the original boxes were probably made like this. A lot of them were done this way. They were a 3-piece box, and so they just cut strips and glued everything together. So for me, that's more complicated, I think, and there's a much easier way to make these. Since I have my box notcher, I make them this way, and so I can kick them out super fast this way. So when I go to the range, I like to have my boxes have it be authentic as possible. So at least the experience of it, the box doesn't have to be necessarily constructed the same way, but it functions and looks exactly the same or close to it. So I will show both methods here, and there's actually kind of 3 different methods. And so I will start with how the original box was made. Well, I think so. And and I ran across something that was kind of interesting with it. So there's actually kind of an easier way to wrap it, and I wonder why they didn't make it that way. And I think it was basically due to saving some money on paper. And this box too was a cost saving thing over the wooden box. So this was cheaper to make than a drilled wooden box with all holes in it and stuff. So and the one thing that I was kind of didn't make sense was the label here doesn't cover the top of the box, and it doesn't cover the back either. And so I thought, why didn't they just make one wrapper that would wrap all sides, at least the top and the 4 sides here. The back doesn't matter, I understand that, but that would make a quicker and easier box to wrap and actually construct. And so the box would have looked like this. So it just looks a lot nicer and neater. So it's wrapped on all 4 sides here, and it looks better than having something like this. So and I think it came down to saving paper basically. So if you make it with a short cut off label like this one here, so this is the short label. I'll have both of these in my on my printables page, but this one here is cut off on top and it doesn't wrap the whole box. This one does. And so after making both labels, it kind of became clear it was definitely a paper savings thing, where for a given sheet of paper you can actually get more labels, and so you can get 10 out of a sheet making a short one, and then the fully wrapped one you can only get 8 out of it. So, and 2, they probably had orphans making these, so orphans probably work cheaper than the cost of paper, so it really wouldn't matter. And then when you cut these out, you always have scrap pieces to assemble the rest of the box, so you're using up scraps and you're utilizing your paper usage by printing them this way. So I will do both methods here. I will basically make it, I'm going to make it how I think the original ones were made. They probably had a pre-made box like this. And so to fill these and wrap them, I kind of found it difficult. And so I'm going to wrap one here and show how that's done. And so I'm going to open these since the labels are typoed. And they open real nice like this. And so put my packet of, put your caps in there. Load all your cartridges like this. I like to have them snug. So this is for a long cartridge, just like 1.5 inches long. So you want them so they don't rattle around. Because when you're riding your horse or you're on the wagon or you're on the train that's rickety, you don't want your cartridges rattling and falling apart. So they should be nice and tight. And so I'm going to use this label here. And so they basically would have taken this label. And the string is the part I had difficult with. Putting the string in and getting it lined up along the top edge. Unless they pre-attached a string to it somehow. But I just... There is a different, better way to actually wrap them. And so now I got to put the string in somehow. So I'll put the label on the lid. And then I got to put my string in here somehow. I got to wrap my string around the box. So you kind of have to put the string down, and then you kind of have to. And the box here is very kind of, it moves around and stuff, so it's, and I like to have the string up in the corner, and so that's hard to place in the right spot here. And it might take practice. I just don't make them this way often, and so you have to pull your string. I mean, the orphans would have been, highly skilled and had a lot of practice, so. And so that's how they probably originally were made, like this. And so my method is a little bit different. And so I will start. So I'm going to make it with this I'm going to do a 3-piece, and then I'm going to do a 1-piece here. And so for a 3-piece, I would just take my label, paste that there at the top of the hinge. And I'm using a rag paper for my labels. Also found really cheap, thin sketch paper works nice. You can get it from like it's like a recycled newspaper type material. And so I gotta cut my string here. And this paper likes to curl for some reason. Guess it's shrinking, cotton shrinks a little bit. So that's my string. And then I take my folding block here and I place that over the top. And I like wrapping all my boxes with a block if I can, because you can make everything nice and tight. So now I can roll it like this. And now that string is in a gap here around the box. So it's kind of formed into it. And then I'll take and push the block here down till it's flush. Take my piece, put it in there, go like this. And then to make it look like this box here with the two pieces on top, like this, I would need a little scrap piece and then I would have to fill that in like that, and then wrap it around like this. And then I usually make these up ahead of time, and then this string I kind of tuck out of the way so it don't get stuck to my. So then I would load these in from the side like this. So that's the second method. And the third method is with a one-piece label, and that is a lot easier. And so basically it is the one-piece label, or the fully wrapped label, with this box, and it is a much easier. And so if you have all your strings cut ahead of time and everything prepped, and you take this and the label's placed in a different spot, so you kind of just place it like this in the center, or as close to center as possible. Press that down real good. Take your block, you place that there, put your string right here, kind of just tuck that in, roll it forward some like this. And so I got the label really crooked, which was fairly common back then with boxes anyway. And so to do the sides here, it's just a matter of folding folding that in, going like this, going like this. And so this is the faster, easier method to make this box. And so then I would let that dry a little bit and then load my cartridges in. So I'm going to make another one with a straight label here and just show, and I'll do the scoring here also with it, since I got that one so crooked. I'm going to do a Remington box this time. And this is really thin paper I have too. This is my thin cotton paper. I think it's too thin, and it's pretty much, it is really hard to print. I gotta score this first. So for the scoring jig here, this works just like my Sharps box jigs, where you just kind of line this up over your box. And it has an extra slot here. Kind of just go like this, that, and then you slide it into the other corner, and you will do a slice, and something like this. And so I will Yeah, this paper is like tissue paper almost. It's almost too thin. I'll line my label up better here. Something like that. And it doesn't mean that matter which side you fold. If you're left or right handed, it might come in easier. You know, either side, it don't matter. So that is how it would be wrapped. And then the string I pull out of the way like that. Pull your folding block out. And so to load them into the side, it is as easy as you would take your cartridges and you just drop them in nose first, and they'll kind of flop over, alternate them back and forth. And then you and in this box here, since it has it's not the one piece, you would have to put a little tiny, you don't have to, you can even leave this piece out if you want. So you could just glue this over and be fine. I've done that before too. So this piece doesn't need to go in. So I'm going to leave that piece out just to show the difference. So you end up with a box that would look like something like this. So the back corner wouldn't have anything on it. It might be a little gap there. So that's how you load them in the side. And for the one piece box here, I'm going to load this one here just to show how much easier it is to load. So I don't know if anybody figured out my typo yet. Here's a good shot of it. So I think I glued this lid on real good. All right. Oh, and this is the Remington box. Oh no, it's Remington. Okay, so putting them in the right ones. So these have Remington bullets on them. So I'm gonna load these in. Thought I was loading them in a Colt box at first. So to basically to glue these, you would have to just put some glue on there, fold that over, take your string, go like this. And so that's it. Thanks for watching.